Hello, everyone. Hi, and welcome to a new session. So, we are starting our RPSC crash course on YouTube from today itself, and it's day 1. And here with me is Ananya. You're on mute.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so I will start my screen sharing. All right. So here we are with our RPSC crash course, day 1. Since the exam is on 21st May, so we thought we should just start it already. Okay. So here is our first question. Yes.
The truth about an author is an autobiography by Dash. Is it Arnold Bennett, E.G. Woodhouse, G.K. Chesterton, or Somerset Maugham? The truth about an author is an autobiography. You have to tell which author is it by.
Yes. So as you can see, this genre or the subgenre of the autobiography is very important. And here, the truth about an author, it's an autobiography by Arnold Bennett. The truth about an author, it's a very important autobiography by Arnold Bennett. Okay, next.
The plot of this novel revolves around a 14-year-old boy, Munnu, and his plight due to poverty and exploitation, aided by the social and political structures in place. Now, which novel is this? Is this Untouchable, Coolie, Two Leaves and a Bud, or The Village?
So, as you all know, it is the novel Coolie. So, Coolie is a novel by Mulk Raj Anand. It was first published in 1936. It's the second book by Mulk Raj Anand. And this book was highly critical of British rule in India and India's caste system. And the protagonist here is the 14-year-old boy Munnu. And this novel talks about his condition or his plight due to poverty and exploitation aided by the social and political structures in place. Okay. Next.
Who coined the term lost generation? Is it Elaine Showalter, Gertrude Stein, Helene Cizou, or Luce Irigaray, who has coined the term lost generation?
So the lost generation is a demographic cohort that reached early adulthood during World War I, and it preceded the greatest generation. And the social generation is generally defined as people born from 1883 to 1900, coming of age in either the 1900s or 1910s. This term, lost generation, is also particularly used to refer to a group of American expatriate writers living in Paris during the 1920s. And Gertrude Stein is credited with coining this term, lost generation, and it was subsequently popularized by Ernest Hemingway, who used this term, lost generation, in the epigraph for his 1926 novel, The Sun Also Rises. So this term was coined by Gertrude Stein, and later it was popularized by Ernest Hemingway because he made this term his epigraph in the novel The Sun Also Rises. Okay. Yes. So the answer is Gertrude Stein. Next.
The autobiography of an unknown Indian was published in which year? Is this 1947, 1950, 1953, or 1956?
So again, a very important work of autobiography in Indian literature. Okay, so the autobiography of an unknown Indian is the 1951 autobiography of an Indian writer, Niraj C. Chaudhary. So written when he was around 50, it records his life from his birth in 1897 in Kishorganj, a small town in present-day Bangladesh. And this book relates his mental and intellectual development, his life and growth in Calcutta, his observations of vanishing landmarks, and the connotation of this is dual, changing Indian situation and historical forces that was making exit of British from India an imminent affair. So it's a very important work in Indian literature, and it was published in the year 1951. Okay, next.
Chaman Nahal got the Sahitya Academy Award for his novel Dash. Is it Azadi, My True Faces, Into Other Dawn, or The Crown and the Loin Cloth? Chaman Nahal got Sahitya Academy Award for which of his novels?
Okay. So Chaman Nahal received the Sahitya Academy Award for his novel Azadi. Azadi. And it belonged to a series of novels, but the other novels which belonged to that collection were The Crown and the Loincloth, the Salt of The Crown and the Loincloth, The Triumph of the Tricolor, and The Salt of Life. These were the other three novels which were included in the collection of this quartet, where Azadi was also a piece. So Azadi belonged to a quartet of novels by Chaman Nahal, and for this work, Chaman Nahal had received the Sahitya Academy Award. Okay, next. Okay, so here we have a grammar question.
They threw away the old newspapers. You have to change it into passive voice. Is it the old newspapers were thrown away by them? Old newspapers had to be thrown. The old newspapers had to be thrown, or the old newspapers were threw away. You have to change the first sentence into passive voice.
So as you all know, the rules of active voice and passive voice. So the first option is the correct answer. The old newspapers were thrown away by them. Okay. So please practice grammar properly. They will really fetch you good marks. Okay, next.
Dash is the protagonist of Cry the Peacock. Is it Maya, Jaya, Sarita, or Nalini? You have to tell the protagonist of Cry the Peacock.
So Cry the Peacock, as you can see, it's a novel by Anita Desai. And it is the story of a young girl, Maya, obsessed by a childhood prophecy of disaster. The author builds up an atmosphere of tension and oppression in the middle of an Indian summer. And it was the debut novel by Anita Desai, Cry the Peacock. And here the protagonist is Maya. Okay, next.
Punishment in Kindergarten is a poem by Dash. Now, is it A.K. Ramanujan, Nisim Ezekiel, Kamla Das, or Geeta Hariharan? Punishment in Kindergarten is the poem's name, and it is by either of the following writers.
So, Punishment in Kindergarten, it's a poem by Kamla Das. And this poem describes a painful childhood memory from the poet's kindergarten days. All right, and it's a poem by Kamla Das. Do look up her poems, her autobiography, her novels. Her poems are very important. So Punishment in Kindergarten, it's a poem by Kamla Das where she talks about a very painful memory of her childhood from kindergarten days. Okay, next.
Devotions upon emergent occasions and several steps in my sickness is a prose work by Dash. Now, is it John Wycliffe, John Donne, Martin Luther, or none of the above?
Devotions upon emergent occasions and several steps in my sickness. It's a prose work by the English metaphysical poet and cleric in the Church of England, John Donne. This prose work was published in 1624, and it covers death, rebirth, and the early modern concept of sickness as a visit from God, reflecting internal sinfulness. This prose work were written, these devotions, this prose work consists of a series of prose sections or prose pieces, you can say. So the devotions were written in December 1623 as Donne recovered from a serious but unknown illness, believed to be relapsing fever or typhus. And to see it from terms of political theology, it is always believed that sickness always brings an individual closer to God. Suffering brings one closer to God. And it's a very important prose work by John Donne. Okay, next. Again, a grammar question.
It is too hot to go out today. You have to change from simple to complex sentence. The options are, it is so hot going out today. It is so hot that one cannot go out today. Being hot, one cannot go out today, or none of the above.
So here you have to change the simple to complex. And the correct answer is, it is so hot that one cannot go out today. So that will come. Okay. So we have a big announcement, that is, since NET exam is there in June, so at Vallat, from 2nd May onwards, we are starting our 1-month crash course. And what is so special about this course? In this course, you will get comprehensive revisions, GRF power sessions, mega revision sessions, model tests for practice, and also Telegram polls, where you will get lots and lots of quizzes for daily practice. Okay, and the fee is only rupees 6,000, and there is also the number on the screen where you can contact and get enrolled accordingly. So this course is going to boost your preparation like nothing. So if you haven't joined this course yet, do register soon and get enrolled quickly. Okay, next.
No Fifth Man is a poem by Dash. Is it Shiv K. Kumar, Nissim Ezekiel, A. K. Ramanujan, or G. F. Patel? No Fifth Man is the poem's name. You have to tell which writer is it by.
No Fifth Man is a very popular poem by A. K. Ramanujan. And this poem actually talks about 5 Brahmins or Brahmins, 5 Brahmins who go abroad to learn all the 64 arts. Or, you can call them as the rituals or practices in Brahminism or priesthood. So, No Fifth Man is a poem by A. K. Ramanujan, which talks about 5 Brahmin priests. Okay, five Brahmin priests, yeah. Okay, next.
The Colonizer and the Colonized is a non-fiction book by Dash. Is it Homi K. Baba, Albert Memmi, Franz Fanon, or Partha Chatterjee? The Colonizer and the Colonized. This is the non-fiction book. You have to tell which writer is it by.
Okay, so The Colonizer and the Colonized is a non-fiction book by the post-colonial theorist Albert Memmi. This book was actually published in French in 1957, and this work explores and describes the psychological effects of colonialism on colonized and colonizers alike. So this work examines the psychological effects of colonialism on both the colonizers and the colonized. The Colonizer and the Colonized by Albert Memmi, a very important work. Okay, next.
Black Skin, White Masks by Franz Fanon was published in Dash. Now, is it 1936, 1949, 1952, or 1956? Black Skin, White Masks by Franz Fanon. You have to tell the publishing year.
So, Black Skin, White Masks is a 1952 book by philosopher and psychiatrist Franz Fanon. This book is written in the style of autoethnography, with Fanon sharing his own experiences while presenting a historical critique of the effects of racism and dehumanization inherent in situations of colonial domination on the human psyche. So, Black Skin, White Masks, 1952. Okay, next.
Dash is a concept and term introduced by Victor Shklovsky. Now, is it deconstruction, defamiliarization, diacritic, or diachrony? You have to tell which term is introduced by Victor Shklovsky.
So, as you all know, it is the concept of defamiliarization, which was introduced by Victor Shklovsky, the formalist, in his essay Art as a Technique. And defamiliarization is actually the process which makes even very familiar things around us strange. It makes things strange through art. Next.
In which work among the following, Raymond Williams talks about dominant, emergent, and residual cultures? Is it The Country and the City, Marxism and Literature, The Long Revolution, or Culture and Society?
So in the work, Marxism and Literature, Raymond Williams talks about dominant, emergent, and residual cultures. Marxism and Literature. And please also look up the other works of Raymond Williams, very, very important. And be very careful about the chronology, because they can very easily ask you a question like arrange the following works of Raymond Williams, according to the proper chronology. So be very careful about the years as well. Okay, next.
Who wrote Ode on the Morning of Christ's Nativity? Is it Milton, Dryden, Chaucer, or Pope?
Okay, so Ode on the Morning of Christ's Nativity. So as you can see, it's a nativity ode by John Milton. It was written and published in 1629. And this ode was actually added in the collection Poems of Mr. John Milton, which was published in 1645. This poem describes Christ's incarnation and his overthrow of earthly and pagan powers. The poem also connects the incarnation with Christ's crucifixion. Okay, so it's a work by Milton. So before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that from 2nd May at Vallat, we are starting this 1-month crash course of NET. And here you will get comprehensive revisions, GRF power sessions, mega revision sessions, model tests for practice, and also you will get lots and lots of quizzes through Telegram polls for daily practice. Now this early bird offer is going on, where you just need to pay a fee of rupees 5,000. And there is also a number on the screen where you can contact for your further queries and get enrolled accordingly. So do enroll faster and join the classes. It will really help you in your NET preparations. So that's all for tonight. Okay, so shall we wrap up, Ananya?
Yes, with this wonderful revision, we shall wrap up.
Yeah, okay. So guys, take care. And we will meet again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Till then, take care.